Brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lekter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Mornings at the Cabin. Indeed. Lekter, Wheeler, Ollie, AJ perhaps. Although one only in the studio right now, and normally in Mornings at the Cabin tradition, this would mean somebody's late. Not the case today. No. Jesse Wheeler made the decision this past weekend that he was going to do a little bit of retroactive isolation. So we'll hear from him. We'll hook up with Wheeler. We'll hook up with Ollie a little bit later on. Ollie, of course, continues his isolation from deep within the Amber Mountains of Yellowknife. We'll hear from both of them. Minus 12 right now in Yellowknife. It's actually not bad outside. It's just the wind. Gusts of 45 to 59 kilometers. And they're coming from the north-northwest, so you know they're cold. I honestly felt like a 19th century explorer making my way to work today. You know, just fighting the wind. Not sure if I'm going the right direction. Ravens taunting me. Unsure if my destination was ever going to be found. Much less even knowing what I was looking for in these crazy, crazy times. But Mornings at the Cabin is here. Yes, we will continue to do our best to bring you mornings of normalcy here on Cabin Radio. Or at least, you know, the closest that we've ever come to normalcy in our little over 2 years of existence. Which now just feels, that 2-year birthday, really insignificant now.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Mornings at the Cabin, the Eagles' peaceful, easy feeling. 7:13, Lekter with you on your Monday morning. Had to get that one in quickly to make up for starting off the morning with Frank Turner recovery, as we add to our list of arguably unhelpful songs in the time of COVID-19. Speaking of COVID-19 and arguably unhelpful, just kidding, Jesse Wheeler joins us on the Mornings at the Cabin radio program. How are you doing, Jesse?
Not too bad, Lekter. I have a peaceful, easy feeling myself. I mean...
You sound very relaxed, like probably more relaxed than anyone's ever heard you sound on this show.
That's probably right. I mean, I'm sitting in my chair. I got about 4 hours of sleep, so I'm nice. I'm just right in the zone, you know.
4 hours.
Yeah, feeling okay. This is the thing, though. I'm not going to take you to task, but it was not my decision to do this. Although, I mean,
did I say that?
You did. I've been leaning into this decision for a little while, kind of thinking that we should do it.
Right.
But based on the new directive that landed on Friday evening, anyone that had been out of that came back, re-entered the NWT within the last 14 days, had to self-isolate. And that was Phoenix. She came back from BC. So we kind of, I asked for some information. I wasn't able to get a hold of him, but Ollie, bless him, who is bringing all the information to everybody all the time, messaged me and said, this is what she should do, and since you've been with her, you should also do it. So we are self-isolating till that 14-day period is up, and that will be Thursday. So Thursday morning, if we are symptom-free, I will come by and do the show with you.
Okay, and I notice you're not taking up the patented Ollie Williams cough in the middle of your sentences, so everything's good so far.
So far, so good. Both of us are symptom-free, and we did fill out the self-isolation plan, which everybody should do if they are self-isolating. You can get that at the Health and Social Services website. We should put up a link to that. I think we do, and some of the stories. It takes a couple of minutes, and it's literally just who you are, what's your address, when did you travel, and I said, I had to say that I didn't travel, but my partner did, and we've been cohabitating and everything that goes along with it. So we've been doing that.
Okay, so that actually brings up a pretty interesting point for those who maybe have been following along in the news, but obviously there's been so much information in the past week and a half, 2 weeks, and lots of things have changed up here. There are probably some people who are kind of wondering are we in the same boat? Like, we have a kind of a similar situation, but we haven't been isolating to this point, and it's 12 days in, we haven't had any symptoms. Give us like a bit of a step by step when you realize that perhaps you should be taking this step. What was the process like for you and Phoenix?
Well, she when the directive came down on Friday, I hadn't even realized it yet. I hadn't read the whole thing. I just knew that the borders were closing, and I was like, okay. So I was contacting with you guys because we've been having a group chat on Facebook, and then I went and talked with Phoenix. I was like, the borders have closed. This is what that means, and she's like, it also means that I have to self-isolate, because she was doing it kind of anyway.
Okay. Because
they've closed the dance studio until the schools are open.
Right.
And I said, oh, okay, I wonder what that means for me. And so that's when I sent a message to you guys saying, hey, this is our situation, not sure what it means. And then, like I said yesterday, trying to get a hold of public health, but of course everybody's trying to get a hold of public health. So I only tried, now that's not to say that people shouldn't keep trying to get through if they can't. I tried twice.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, well, my situation isn't quite as severe. So I'll just kind of wait and see. But then Ollie, like I said, bless him, got all the information together and sent us that and just said, listen, if you've been hanging out with her, then you should isolate as well, at least until that 14-day period is done. Right. Which will be Thursday. And if we are both symptom-free, then we should be okay, kind of in the clear for now kind of thing. Yeah, that's kind of the process. I mean, we're just kind of taking it very seriously, even though we feel that we probably haven't been exposed to anything. So for people that are in this kind of situation, right now, it's just if anybody that you live with has been outside the NWT in the last 14 days, since I believe the 10th of March, and those are very, very strict suggestions and strict recommendations. I mean, those things are going to probably become mandatory in the next few days, but that's kind of where it is right now. We're just taking it as seriously as possible because that's what we should be doing.
Okay, so you are embarking on your morning of day 3 right now then?
Yes, day 3. But I mean, day 1 kind of really just because I had work off on Saturday and I didn't work yesterday anyway, so here we are.
Yeah. Well, I kind of got the sense that as of day 2, yesterday you sent me a message and I was like, oh man, he's struggling. He's already losing his mind in isolation. You sent me a message saying, I just started a season in NHL 19. I was like, oh no. Oh no. He must be nearing his data limit. What? Sorry?
I'm 2 years behind on that game. So I'm starting a season of NHL, the previous one, not even the one that's out right now. So yeah, and I mean, just it's not. It hasn't been that big of a struggle yet, but I mean, you're just kind of staying inside and not really doing much. Going out for the occasional walk, but having Betty not being able to go out for long walks is it's tough. It's tough for her.
Yeah,
but we're doing okay.
I'd imagine I imagine at this point you're just still trying to kind of wrap your heads around it and what all that quote unquote self-isolation means.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, self-isolation, when you're, if I, without the directive, we didn't know, right? So, I mean, we've been kind of together and living in the same quarters and all that. So that changes things. So if she came home and knew she had to self-isolate and I knew I had to go to work, then she would have isolated in a completely different part of the house.
Right.
And it would be that much. That's the definition, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to isolate yourself completely, use different pots and pans, use different times at the bathroom, wipe down the bathroom completely when you're done. And I don't think a lot of people, and I mean, Ollie made that clear the other night, but I don't think a lot of people kind of get that.
Right.
But that's incredibly hard to do. So I imagine a lot of people, especially couples, are just kind of like, you know what, we're just going to hang out. I'll self-isolate, you'll self-isolate, and then we'll, reassess.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, it's kind of like playing it safe is just like, well, I'd kind of rather not completely avoid you. So, let's just both play it safe and self-isolate together and kind of monitor it from there, which sounds weird. It sounds, it kind of messes with your head to be like, well, Just this. I mean, everything about this, I think, is messing with people's heads a bit. But thank you on behalf of us here at Cabin Radio and everyone else for absolutely taking this seriously. And of course, right off the top, I want to give a big shout out to everyone who is self-isolating right now and taking this very seriously, because you are doing the work that needs to be done, that we need to all take seriously to make sure that we get past this and we move on. So thank you, and thank Phoenix, and thank everyone else who is finding themselves currently in self-isolation. We're gonna get back into some music. You gonna hang out, bud?
Yeah, I want to hang out. What's going on?
All right.
Is everything cool? I've been in a Jared Leto isolation meditation for 3 days. The world is bright and bleary. What's going on?
All right, keep it together, and we'll come back, all right?
All right.
Okay, little Billy Bragg and
I'll be here.
All right.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast. Hey, it was early. What do you want from us?
Lekter with you on your Morning at the Cabin, joined by Jesse Wheeler via Skype. How you doing, Jesse? Whoa, what's going on over there?
On the floor with Betty.
Oh, is she tickling you?
Yeah. She was getting a little antsy on the floor, so I came down to be with her.
Oh, that's nice. How's you know what? With that in mind, let's get a little pup date. How's Betty doing?
Betty's doing okay. She's getting, like I said, very antsy. She wants to go out running and jumping and stuff. So her legs are feeling okay, but obviously she can't do any of that. So she's just being a real pain in the ass.
Everyone in isolation is Betty right now. So many people want to go out there and just do some running, do some jumping.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Back at the grocery store, just run and jump around down the aisles like we used to.
I used to just jump through the bread section all the time onto the fresh bread, and now I can't do that.
Oh, we long for normalcy, don't we? So
we do.
I don't know if you caught COVID Corner last night.
I never miss an episode.
You never miss an episode. Okay, so you may remember right off the top, we mentioned we played Joel Plaskett right there. Folk on the Rocks, hopefully still going to go ahead as normal, as normalcy will hopefully be back in full swing by July. But I wanted to feature something right off the top. Ollie on COVID Corner last night. Of course, if you're not aware, I don't know how, because it's the biggest television show in the Northwest Territories right now, by far.
That's right. It's the most watched television show in the history of the Northwest Territories.
That's right. So Cabin Radio Facebook page, 7 p.m. nightly. Ollie has been doing basically a roundup of everything that has been going on with regards to the COVID-19 outbreak, things you need to keep in mind, things that the Chief Public Health Officer is recommending as those update. And I mean, we've seen those updates change hourly, let alone daily. So he's been doing a great job of rounding up all that information and making it digestible for you. And then including some cute puppy and kitty and pet photos at the end, just to brighten your spirits in case everything was perhaps a little dark for your taste. But he started off last night's COVID Corner by displaying new little skill he's picked up. So I just wanted to play that for you here.
I'd also be interested in knowing what you're doing to keep yourself occupied now that we're all having to do this social distancing and self-isolation and just spend a lot more time at home. Me personally, I've been learning to play the ocarina. Here we go. It's like Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past meets Bob and Doug. Anyway, that's enough of that. So that's how I've been spending my time. And of course, I said A Link to the Past when I clearly meant the Ocarina of Time. What a way to blow your own Legend of Zelda joke, Ollie, right at the top of the show. I don't know, can't play an ocarina, can't make jokes about Nintendo video games without blowing them. What am I good for, I ask you? Anyway.
So, as you could hear from that clip there, Ollie is, he's well into self-isolation now. He's losing his mind a little. But you know what? That's okay. He's still getting through it. He's working maybe harder than he normally does. I mean, that's tough to say, because when we see Ollie at the cabin here, when things are normal, he's constantly working. He never takes a moment off, and somehow still seems to operate, pretty all right. He's at home now. He's arguably working harder than he ever has before, bringing us COVID-19 news and COVID Corner and keeping us all up to date. He's somehow found time to, what was that he was playing? The ocarina?
Yeah.
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 It reminded me of a whistle that was used in one of the Dead North films that you and I starred in, of course, the Tundra Dome. I don't want to get into too much detail about that, but
that's right.
Yeah, that was kind of where my head drifted at first. But clearly, as you could hear,
phallus whistle.
That's right. Clearly, as you could hear, he messed up his own reference. Is that a tune that he was playing? Is that from Legend of Zelda?
No, the tune he was playing was Bob and Doug McKenzie. Coo, 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 coo.
Oh, okay. Oh,
but
man.
The instrument is from Ocarina of Time.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And then he sent Link to the Past, so...
Okay.
He messed it all up. You know what? And the thing is, I've been in isolation this is the third day, so starting to lose my marbles a little bit.
And you've already learned how to play classical gas on guitar.
But day 3, and not to be outdone, I have picked up my guitar again. Started plucking away a little bit, picking up some old things, falling into you got to pick up where you left off with some of it. And you're trying to learn some new things. But I'm just gonna play a little 1 second.
Yeah, play us a little ditty.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not going well, but I've picked up my guitar again.
Well, it's okay because I can't really hear it that well. I'm not sure if it's coming through on the air at all.
Oh, well, 1 second.
Well, play us a little live ditty. Come on. Or was that live?
Let's just put on speakerphone this time. Let's see. It's a Radiohead song.
Yeah. Sort of a Kid A era Radiohead sounds like. Yeah. Okay.
No, nothing from Pablo Honey.
Yeah. You got some weird electronic atmospheric elements in there. Although I think that might just be the lack of transmission over the air here.
Oh, damn it. Did you not hear it? Well,
kind of, but
great.
It sounded like you're underwater a little bit, that's all.
Oh, I see.
Which,
Fair
I mean,
enough.
only...
these are the limits of our technology that we have.
Yeah, it only added to the Radiohead analogy, so that kind of worked.
I wanted to say, before we get back to the tunes, and then we'll have Ollie on here in a little bit, just want to say a big thank you to all the corporations I've ever given my email out to. Super happy to know what you're doing about COVID-19. Especially like to thank Herb Approach, who was telling me that they still have new strains available despite everything, which is great. Also, a liquor store in Burnaby that I once gave my email to 10 years ago, letting me know that they're still open for business.
All right.
Yeah, the world outside is strange and scary, but it's good to see that some people are still staying that path.
Oh, thank God.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast, where we cut out all the great music and you're left with the rest.
Mornings at the Cabin. Seether's cover of Careless Whisper. Just for you, but mostly just for Ollie Williams, who joins us on the line right now via Skype, along with Mr. Wheeler. How you doing this morning, gentlemen?
Oh, very good.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, doing all right. How are you?
Not too bad. We're holding it down here at the Cabin. This is one thing we failed to mention in the first couple breaks here, Jesse. So we've talked about how Ollie is coming to us when we bring him onto Mornings at the Cabin the past week. We've been saying deep from within Yellowknife's Amber Mountains. Where are you hunkered down?
Oh, I'm not good enough for the Amber Mountains. I'm somewhere near the shore in a highly densely populated area.
Oh, great.
Okay. That's bad for social distancing.
Yeah.
No. I'm in a hut. I'm fine.
Oh, you're in a hut.
Fine.
Okay. A Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Because that would be like ideal. Yeah.
But I have woken up Phoenix. She doesn't like getting up this early usually, but I got to keep that energy up, so the voice goes up, and I've woken her up now. So.
Good morning, Phoenix.
Phoenix,
she says, good
got
morning.
bad news for you, Phoenix. This is the next however many weeks of your life. Sorry.
Well, hopefully, if we're symptom free by Thursday, then I'll be able to come in and do it live. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Speaking of symptom-free, both of you feeling good, doing all right in your isolation endeavors?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
still trying to figure out who delivers chicken and waffles because
oh yeah,
I would love that.
Right. On a Monday morning. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Maybe we'll make some calls. Ollie, going to have that up on COVID Corner tonight? Who delivers chicken and waffles in town? That does seem like top priority kind of stuff.
The information does. We all want.
I'll happily welcome anyone who wants to sponsor the show with a chicken and waffle messaging. That sounds great. I should say, by the way, thank you to everybody who has donated to us on Patreon.
Yeah, absolutely.
We put out a call for that on the show last night, and a lot of people have come forward and, not donating huge amounts because nobody really has huge amounts right now, but just, a few bucks here and there that they can spare right now, and it is making a big difference. So thank you to everybody who's done that.
Right. So speaking of that, obviously this past weekend, much like last week, lots of big announcements and lots of changes to the way we are navigating the situation. Most obviously, right off the top, we had our first confirmed case as of the announcement coming Saturday morning. Ollie, what else is going on? What else do we need to be aware of? And what else have you heard?
Okay, I'm going to try and keep this to like a 60-second roundup. Otherwise, I'll get carried away and it'll just be like COVID Corner all over again. So the border closure and self-isolation for any NWT residents who are returning to the NWT. The mine workers get a pass on that. They're being screened by their own companies instead. Aircrew get a pass on it. Essential supplies workers get a pass because we need to keep stuff moving. But all other residents who are returning now need to self-isolate for 2 weeks. They have to file a plan for that. And if they break their self-isolation plan, they can be fined up to 10 grand and sent to jail for up to 6 months. So that is serious at this point. Mass gatherings, well, any gathering of any size, indoors or outdoors, the Chief Public Health Officer is asking people to cancel. That includes everything from bingo to religious services to a house party at your place to going around and visiting your friends next door. Cancel the whole lot. That is from the Chief Public Health Officer yesterday. Also asking a range of businesses to close if they can't keep the 2 meter spread for social distancing. So salons, any sort of spa, bars, gyms, even the bottle depots and tour operators especially being asked to close down now by the Chief Public Health Officer. A couple of bits of breaking news this morning. WestJet has confirmed what its flight schedule will be. There will be one flight between Yellowknife and Calgary and back daily with WestJet. All the rest of WestJet's NWT schedule is scrapped from now on. And the Diavik Diamond Mine is moving a lot of its workers to 4 on, 4 off. 4 weeks at the site, 4 weeks off, in order to limit the amount of travel. So workers at Diavik are now being asked to do a month at a time on site. That is new this morning as well. There'll be a story on our website shortly.
Okay. So in light of all that, definitely want to give a big shout out and thank you to everyone who is still working, especially, the ones who are beyond, like the essential services, obviously, they kind of, we kind of need them in this situation, but especially to the people who are working at, the grocery store, the gas stations, all of the stuff that we kind of take for granted, normally. But they are still doing fantastic work and making sure that everything is, as normal as possible. And obviously that, making it possible so that we can still get food and just try to stay comfortable in this situation.
Yeah, it's funny how quickly those so-called low-skilled workers became frontline essential staff.
Yeah.
It took about 3 days. And a lot of people sharing the post. There was a post kind of circulating yesterday of people like, I don't want to ever hear again people disrespecting so-called low-wage workers ever again after this, because this is when the time was when we needed that. When we needed some sense of normalcy and we needed access to these things, these are the people that are doing it.
Yeah.
So, the rest of us have to self-isolate, where these people have basically become essential workers. We heard that some grocery stores are going to be giving raises and things like that. Obviously, I think that's a great idea. So yeah, that's it's it's pretty incredible, like the changes that have happened. But at the same time, those things that we did take for granted now become thrust right into light. And we're so thankful for people who are staying to work and are able to help us kind of keep this sense of normalcy, keep everything going.
Ooh, Jesse, can you say thrust one more time?
Thrust!
Oh, okay.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I, as well as I'm sure both of you and many other people have had a couple moments where you've been reflecting on, things that maybe were an issue to us like a month ago. And like Jesse, you bring up a good point with the grocery store one. I don't ever want to see or hear about someone disrespecting any grocery store workers again. And especially you think back to, what was it, a month ago? And there was a post going around about how offended someone was that the grocery store, the checkout clerk wouldn't bag their groceries for them. Now that would be groceries. Now that would be like illegal.
You're not going to bag my groceries.
Yeah. How our problems change.
I hope that person is just like, well, I'm certainly a butthole.
It is interesting, just to jump in on that, it is interesting how quickly things are changing. So a few days ago, when Air Canada announced all of its changes to its schedule, everybody shared that news story. Everybody was reading it. Sign of the end times. Air Canada's cutting back flights to Yellowknife.
Right.
This morning, we've just published the WestJet one to a shrug collectively from the Northwest Territories, who have just been like, yeah, who was getting on that flight anyway?
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants those flights anymore. It's been 3 days already since the first flights left. We don't care about flights
they're still
anymore.
having flights. It's like, well, because people still need to get back and forth for essential things, namely things like cancer treatments and things like that. I've had some people reach out to me, but also people that I know whose family members are in the middle of treatment and obviously can't put them off, so they have to keep going back and forth if they can.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, we're going to take a break here and play some more music. But Ollie, thank you for joining us. Are you off doing Ollie things, collecting news and whatnot?
That is generally the plan. I mean, we say off doing Ollie things. I'm basically going to continue sitting on this sofa and do Ollie things for the entire week. But that is the plan.
Can you give us one more little riff on your flute there?
Yeah, hold on. Let me flute.
I know it's not a flute, but I forget what it's called.
This is an ocarina.
Ocarina. Okay.
Which is a type of flute.
Oh, okay. Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful stuff.
Beautiful.
Oh my God.
Okay.
There you go. Dogs throughout the Northwest Territories now howling.
Thank you, Ollie. Sorry, go ahead, Jesse.
Ollie, before you go, I'm on day 3. You're on day 10. I don't know how you're handling it. You're 10 days in. I'm 3 days in. I'm starting to consider following Matthew McConaughey on Instagram. What am I going to do?
Well, as you can tell, Jesse, I'm handling this so well because I'm now using an ocarina for every punchline in my own household. So, you've got a lot to look forward to over there. Keep it up with the guitar. That was beautiful earlier.
Will do.
All right, gentlemen, we will check in back with you later. Jesse, you good for one more break?
Yeah, one more.
Okay, awesome. Ollie, we wish you well the rest of your day. Keep doing what you're doing. You are doing incredible work, and I've received, I don't know why people are complimenting me on the work you're doing, but I, as well as yourself and us in general, have received many, many very, very kind words and compliments for the work you are doing. So thank you for making us all look so good, Ollie.
You are doing a huge amount as well. This show is fantastic. You've got me laughing this morning. Thank you both, you guys, and we'll speak to you later on.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
Mornings at the Cabin, Lekter and AJ with you. Temptations there, just my imagination. You should have heard AJ singing that in the studio. The voice of an angel over here.
Stop it.
When we're not on air,
that was me singing it.
No. Oh, maybe? Oh, wow. Where are you?
It was me.
You are omnipresent.
I am.
Jesse Wheeler, still with us on Mornings at the Cabin from deep within his hut. How's it going over there, Jesse?
Oh, not too bad. The hut is nice and warm, and the dog is just kind of relaxing, and we're just kind of, hanging out, trying to figure out what to do for the day. Got a little bit of cleaning to do and stuff. But I was looking at my Facebook a little earlier, and a Facebook memory popped up, as it usually does. And it this time last year, I was wondering if I should buy Bluntstones. The answer, still no.
I still argue that. I'm rocking mine still, and I assume that was what inspired that status a year ago today. The fact that
Bloodstones are the new Ugg boots.
I was hanging around looking so good in my Blundstones, and you were like,
That's right.
How can I look that good?
How can I look like I'm part of the Australian Army Reserve?
I'll allow it. I'll let you guys wear them.
Thanks, AJ.
Thank you. I'm too flat-footed for those Blundstones. Like I'm a large, flat, cree feet.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Good for paddling, and not much else.
Fair enough. Okay, so I was telling AJ when he got in this morning that you, of course, have. We were talking about your foray into self-isolation and how you're experiencing it so far. AJ kind of looked at me with a funny look on his face and was like, he's just kind of had a long weekend so far.
So far, yeah, just a long weekend. Like, this is basically like I had the day off on Saturday, which I know of very rarely do.
Yeah.
Yesterday off, and now I'm sitting here on a Monday morning figuring out what to do with myself.
Yeah. So what do you got on the agenda so far?
The agenda today, some cleaning, take the dog out for some short walks, because that's all she can do. I finished Pandemic, the docuseries on Netflix.
Oh,
it's
great.
Very informative.
Yeah.
Between Contagion and Pandemic, are you sure this is the best choice as far as Netflix goes?
Pandemic's a very, it's a documentary, so it's interesting to see things that like are worse be comforting to me.
Right.
So that's just how my brain works.
Yeah. I saw on Facebook too that you and Phoenix had started on probably the most bizarre looking puzzle I've ever seen.
Gorgeous puzzle. Gorgeous. It's a stump craft. So it's like they take the picture and then they laser cut all the pieces. It's solid wood, but they've cut them into all different types of shapes, and then those shapes create other shapes and outwardly, and it was a lot of fun, a little difficult, a little mind numbing, which is probably a great thing.
Yeah, no better time for mind numbing.
A little bit.
Yeah. What's your progress? You about half done?
We're done.
You're already done.
Oh, it's not that good of a puzzle then.
How many pieces was it?
It's a small puzzle, 300 pieces.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looked a lot more daunting on the picture you shared on Facebook there.
It wasn't easy.
No.
We finished it. And we're still together, so that's good.
That's the first hurdle conquered.
Well done, sir.
Well, no, that's a hurdle that's going to need to be conquered every day. We have very disparate schedules usually, and now that we're spending all this time together, it's almost like we're dating.
Hey, congratulations.
Young love.
Yeah, I finally convinced her that, hey, it's not so bad.
See, I'm pretty great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, when you have no choice.
Yeah.
I am a warm body.
So I would have to think that, I mean, Nicole has been off work. She's been at home for the last week. Last Monday, they got the announcement from their job that they were not to come into the office. She struggled with it a little bit earlier on in the week. I think she's doing a little bit better now. She's starting week 2. But, I mean, I swear to God, our house has never been so clean. She has, in addition to working at home, just taken on all of the house chores. You know, the ones that I normally say that I'm going to do on Monday and then get accomplished on a Wednesday. She's getting accomplished within the hour. It's amazing. I think you're going to experience just how amazing staying home can be and getting stuff done. It's just not something we are accustomed to when we're living our more normal lives.
That's true. I mean, it just kind of gets tossed in the back burner. And the thing is, the house hasn't been cleaned yet. I haven't even showered in 2 days. So cleaning the house right now seems daunting.
Well, you're just getting into character, right?
That's right.
That's right.
I'm going to have a shower today, though, I think. I'm starting to think that the shower misses me.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. No. Okay, well, you are embarking on weekday 1 of self-isolation. So that'll about do it for Mornings at the Cabin, I suppose. We'll check in with you. I assume you're pretty much out of things to talk about.
Absolutely not. I've got a whole list here. I mean, if you guys just want to stay on for another, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours, you could probably just bang this one out. I did want to say something just towards the end here that Ollie obviously is doing an excellent job with COVID Corner, and but dispelling any misinformation that's going on out there. Yeah. If you see people spreading misinformation, unsubstantiated rumor, accusations that people are playing with people's lives or people aren't working as hard as they should be, stop them. Stop them from spreading it. Tell them to remain calm. Send them links to the appropriate authorities' websites. Tell them not to stir things up, because there was a lot of that going on yesterday. One person posting on multiple groups saying, my mother was in for a lung infection and didn't get tested, blah, 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 and that means that no one's getting tested, and kind of suggesting that things are not as they seem.
Right.
We need to stop that right now. We don't need a Twilight Zone, the monsters are due on Maple Street situation.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut. That's season 1 of the original Twilight Zone, by the way.
Well done. Well done.
Try to find that, because it's probably out there somewhere streaming. If we can just calm down on the misinformation, get your information from the public health office or trusted media sources. And obviously, I'm biased, but Ollie, because he's spending his entire day learning how to play a weird flute and also figuring out what information to give you and what you need to know. So,
absolutely,
good stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that makes it difficult again is that our circumstances have changed, and under normal circumstances, I would suggest maybe we tackle these people to the ground and keep them quiet. But again, social distancing, you can't even do that anymore.
That's right.
You poke them with a broom handle or something.
I know what we're supposed to do.
You poke them with a broom handle or a hockey stick if we want to keep things Canadian.
Stick and just kind of whack them with it.
Yeah. Spearing is becoming the most popular penalty in hockey by far once again. Butt ending, also a good choice.
Don't go to bars. It doesn't matter if they've decided to remain open or not. Don't go anywhere. Stop it.
Yes, we all are. We got to do our part. Yeah, well said, Jesse. Yep. Okay, you go on with your day. Do whatever you're going to do. We'll check in with you tomorrow morning on Mornings at the Cabin. Enjoy yourself in this isolation period. And if you yourself are listening and you are in self-isolation right now, perhaps send Jesse a message and you could talk about it together. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And send us videos, send us pictures, send us ideas of what you're doing so we can share them with everybody else as well, because I know there's some people who are just kind of looking for, what can I do today? What's something I can do? I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to try to pick up my guitar and not sound like a dying animal. That's what I'm going to do.
And again, just describes how different the circumstances are, because under normal circumstances, if I said that, you would be like, no, what are you doing? Don't tell people to talk to me.
Yeah, for God's sake. Social distancing even means over the internet.
That's right. All right, Jesse, you have a wonderful Monday, and we will talk to you tomorrow morning.
Bye-bye.
There it is, the classic goodbye. And that'll do it for Mornings at the Cabin.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.